When you think of AI tools for designers, Cursor probably isn't one of the first names that comes to mind. You may even think that Cursor is just for developers, but it's actually just as relevant to designers, particularly product UX and UI designers. It can design functional prototypes, you can connect Figma and your design system, give Cursor design guidelines to follow, and even build full-stack apps. It also now includes design mode, which is going to be a big focus of this video because it lets you direct your AI agents with visual prompts. So let's dive into a real design project inside Cursor. So starting off with a Cursor UI overview, if you've used other AI coding tools, this interface should look pretty familiar to you. In the left sidebar, you can start a new session, or as Cursor calls them, agents. You can use this smart search island to search across all of your projects, different modes that you can utilize within Cursor, and everything else, including agents, files, actions, and settings. Then one of the core Cursor features is automations. You can see I have one set up for design system documentation, and this automation means that every time I create a design inside Cursor, new documentation gets added to my design system based on any new components I've created in a new project or existing components that I've updated. I will say that automations are a bit more tailored to developers with things like code review, security, incidents. So if you're a designer that works a bit more on the technical side, then this feature may be for you. Then back in the sidebar, we have the Customize panel. Customize is where you can flip on several different features, but the most relevant ones to you as a designer are going to be plugins, MCPs, skills, and subagents. With plugins, you can connect the Figma plugin, for example, which is going to be your quickest path to going from a Figma design to real code, which I'll show you a real demo of pretty soon. Then MCPs is where you connect Cursor to other tools like Mobbin and Notion in my case. Skills are of course pretty relevant to designers, and they can help Cursor produce better design output. You can see if I open up all my skills, if I scroll down a bit, you can see I already have quite a bit of skills installed, including the front-end design skill, which is pretty much the most popular UI and web design skill right now. I'm not going to go too deep into skills in this video because this is about Cursor specifically, but I have other existing videos on skills if you want to learn more about this. Now back on the new agent screen, this dropdown in the top left is where you're going to choose your working directory. I've created a new folder at my root called Cursor Demo, which I'm dedicating to this project that I'm about to show you built out inside Cursor. Choosing a specific directory is how you help Cursor work more efficiently and stay organized. Now pay attention to this. This is your model dropdown, where you choose which AI model you want to use for your project. Now, if you don't care too much about what AI model you're using, you can just switch it to auto. Then you don't have to pick which model you use, and it'll decide for you based on your project. If you're working on a super complex project that requires deep thinking, you can use max mode. Just know that this will eat up a ton of tokens, and you should ideally be at a higher subscription level like Pro Plus if you're using this mode. Now check out the AI models that are listed here. You can see that you have a really nice variety of different models from different companies. If you use Claude Code, you have access to Claude models. If you use Codex, you have access to GPT models. In Cursor though, you have access to the latest Grok model, Claude models like Opus, Fable, and Sonnet, and then GPT models like GPT 5.6 Terra and Sol. So this gives Cursor a leg up in terms of its flexibility. It gives you more models to work with. And you're not limited to these either. You can hit add models and then enable older GPT and Claude models if you want those. And if you scroll down a bit, you have access to Gemini models and even Kimi and GLM. So whatever AI model you prefer, you probably have access to it inside Cursor. For this demo, I'm going to use the new Grok 4.5 and see how it does at UI design. Now, if I hit this plus, you have a few different modes that you can choose from. You can start off by planning out your project with an implementation plan, debug if you're working on a real software project rather than just a UI or UX design, multitask, which is how you get a lot of work done in parallel with subagents, and ask mode, which just turns Cursor into a conversational AI like ChatGPT or Claude Chat. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I love giving AI reference images to work with. So if you have screenshots of some existing designs that you want to give to Cursor as inspiration, you can attach images here. Then like I said before, you have skills in Cursor. For this one, I'm going to use the classic front-end design skill. Then last thing before I write my first prompt, you also have access to MCP servers. I'll touch on this more when I use the Mobbin MCP later on. So let's kick off this demo with our first prompt, keeping the front-end design skill enabled. Design a digital learning platform targeted toward designers, particularly UI, UX, and product designers. Then some more guidelines about design and content. The platform should feel modern, clean, and visually confident, not a generic course site. Include a homepage with featured courses, a course detail page, and a lesson view where users can track progress through a curriculum. Quick note, especially for longer prompts like this, I encourage you to try out the dictation tool, which lets you speak your prompts rather than type them. Now, Cursor does have these 4 different modes up front, but I want to jump straight into the UI and UX design, and then show you the design mode, which we'll have access to after this first generation. Now, check this out. Because my directory is empty and there's no design context yet, it's going to ask me for a few decisions, so it doesn't just end up looking and feeling like every other online learning site. So first off, who's this primarily for? I want this to be for working product designers leveling up on the side. And instead of typing this out or copying and pasting it, I can just hit add to chat. Then what emotion should it evoke? I think confidence is a good move given my vision of the app's design. So again, I'll just hit add to chat. Now I've also answered the rest of its questions, and I've also included that I want it to design for desktop primarily. So now let's hit prompt. This is also a good point to mention that you can use Cursor as an IDE instead. This is probably the option you'd prefer if you're more of a developer, so you can use Cursor's built-in IDE here, and it gives you a great combination of prompting over on the bottom right, but then also making manual edits to the code yourself. Cursor will frequently ask you if it's okay for it to run the command that it wants to run. If you trust Cursor and want to see these permission requests less and less, just hit always run each time. So now it's finished the first build of our design. Over on the right, you can see what changes were made to what files, open up a browser window to preview your work, make commands from a terminal, which of course is not as relevant to you if you're a designer, and then see all the files a part of your current project. This is where you see the source code that's making up your design, and you can make changes directly to the code if you have that technical knowledge. Now, once I've opened up either changes, browser, terminal, or files, let's say I have a file open, I can hit this plus to pull up any other window too. Let's pull up the design that Cursor just created in a browser window. So here's what we're working with right now. We have this serif typeface for headings paired with the sans serif for body text. If I hit browse featured, it has us scroll down to the featured courses, and each of these courses has a dedicated page where it gives you a description of the course and the instructor, and then an outline of the curriculum. And what I love about this design so far is it's actually pretty intricate. If I click into any of these items, it shows me what the UI would actually look like being inside this course. We have a placeholder video component over here, which is pretty much the heart of each course. I can mark each section as complete, and we see some real state management included. Each of these checks on the left get filled as I mark a section as completed, and we also see the progress bar in the upper right is dynamic as well. Then back to the homepage, under the featured courses, it finishes off the landing page with a list of the full catalog of courses. So overall, this is looking like a great starting point, but there's definitely some ways that we can improve it and make it feel a bit more personalized. We're definitely seeing some placeholder content, like this really awkward looking half-finished graphic on the right side of our hero section. Each of these courses down here just has a colored dot to the right, when really the design of this website should be more visual so that the viewer doesn't have to rely on just reading the text thrown in front of them. So remember that design mode that I told you about earlier? Now that we have a first generation, I can access it. It's this little icon in the upper right. It's easy to miss, but each time you've generated a UI, you'll have that option there. Now I have design mode enabled, and what that means is that anytime I hover over any element on the page, I can click to select it, and then write a prompt targeted toward that element specifically. This headline, for example, is not doing its job at all right now. It just reads the name of the platform, which already shows up in the upper left, so I'm gonna say make it convey the value of the platform, not the name of it. And even when you're making a targeted prompt, you can still choose what AI model you want to use. These next few prompts that I'm gonna make are going to be pretty specific and easy for Cursor to handle, so I'm going to bump it down to Composer 2.5. This will be faster and use less tokens than Grok 4.5. Now I'll hit send and let's watch this change happen. Now we got that updated headline, and I think this one is doing more work than just stating the name of the platform. Now, like I said, this graphic on the right is very awkward and half finished, but I can't seem to select the individual element here. But luckily inside design mode, what I can do is just draw around it. Now with that selection made, I'm going to say visual UI style representation of what the platform offers. And because AI is generally best at creating graphics through code, I'm going to say built with HTML and CSS. Bonus points for animating it using JavaScript. And this one is actually a bit more complex, so let's try using a more capable model like Opus 4.8 for this one. Now I'll hit send. And here's the thing, in design mode, I can send multiple prompts at once. So while that one is running, I'm going to select the background of this hero section and say make this background more enticing. Try a mesh gradient or ASCII style background. Still light mode, but with more visual appeal. Now I'll hit send, and now that second prompt is just sitting in my queue. But remember that multitasking feature I mentioned earlier? I can hit start multitasking here, and it'll run both tasks in parallel. Now it's delegating each of those prompts as new subagents that are going to be working at the same time. Check it out. I can view my subagents down here and see both of them running simultaneously and stop them if I want to. While those two are running, I'm going to make one more prompt. I'm I'm gonna select these 3 course items right here and say lay these out horizontally as cards with images for each one. Now we can see cursor is still working on the left side, but we have that updated graphic in our hero section, animated and much more visual than what we saw before. So now the 3 workers that we had running are all complete. We have this animated graphic in our hero section. These featured courses are now displaying as cards with area left at the top for images to be inserted. I mean, these are nothing more than placeholder graphics at the moment, but if you need graphics as basic as these ones you see here, cursor will be able to do that for you. And then going back up to the hero section, we have this updated background, but it really doesn't look how I was expecting it to. So instead, I'm just gonna directly attach an image that I want cursor to use as our background image, then say, use this for the hero background. And then just to be thorough, I'm gonna switch down to a less powerful model like Sonnet 5 and hit prompt. Now we got that image showing up properly in our hero section. So this is a good option if you can't really get what you want through prompting and you instead wanna just give cursor the assets directly. Now let's say at this point, I'm liking how our website is looking, but it still feels kind of like a first draft. It feels like it's not totally using the right design patterns here and there. And there's principles that we could take from existing online learning platforms, for example, and apply to our own site to take it up a notch. This is where the Mobbin MCP is going to come in. You can see down here, if I hit plus, open my MCP servers, I have the Mobbin MCP connected and enabled. Now here's why I'm going to use Mobbin. It's a library of over 600,000 screenshots of real apps used by real consumers. And they're not just loose screenshots. I can browse them depending on what category I'm designing for, what screen or UI element I'm designing, or best practices for designing a particular type of user flow. And since I'm designing a digital learning platform, I want to make sure that I'm using best practices for this type of app rather than just having the AI design blindly. On Mobbin, I can search for digital learning platform, and when I hit search, it'll use AI to find the most relevant results for me. Now I can see how the top companies like Skillshare, Codecademy, Coursera, and many more are designing their platforms. But instead of manually browsing through all these screens and copying and pasting screenshots into Cursor, I can just tell Cursor, using the Mobbin MCP, study the best design patterns and principles for online learning platforms. Create a report with your findings, and then redesign our project to incorporate those design patterns. Now Cursor is actively using that MCP server to search through Mobbin on its own and gather the most relevant design practices for our platform. Without doing this, AI is just going to be guessing about what the best design practices are, and a lot of those guesses are going to result in poor UI and UX. Now check this out. Cursor has searched through Mobbin using the Mobbin MCP and come up with a detailed report with its findings, and it's also visually laid out all of the references that it found. It's called out Skillshare and Masterclass as homepage inspiration, and I can actually click on either of these references, and it takes me straight to that reference inside the Cursor browser window. And from here, I can scroll down and see what similar platforms are doing as well, or I can just go back to my report. It's also laid out inspiration for the course detail page from Codecademy and UXL, and then a few other sections too, and most importantly, at the end, it's come up with a redesign plan for my digital learning platform. It's decided to make some improvements to the homepage, the course detail page, the lesson player, and a few key things that it's decided to keep as is based on its findings from Mobbin. So let's actually check out the redesign. We have a brand new hero section with a search bar front and center because Cursor found through Mobbin that that's a common pattern that digital learning platforms have. Or I could just go straight to popular course types. And we have this new and improved graphic on the right side showing the actual platform UI. Then we have some visual improvements made to this continue learning section, as well as the featured courses with this horizontal scroll here. Then it's thrown in a testimonial section with this really sleek looking dark mode. And then we have this beautifully redesigned practitioners section, which shows the instructors that you can learn from on the platform. And it's also taking real stock images from Unsplash, which is a nice little thing you can do in Cursor to make your UI feel a bit more alive and real, rather than just using placeholder rectangles. And the bottom of the homepage is looking very nice as well, with this redesigned catalog section. I like the little instructor avatars on the right, and their name and title is laid out really cleanly as well. So this entire redesign was possible because we had Cursor go through Mobbin's entire library of 600,000 screenshots and understand what good design is for a digital learning platform like this. To get started with Mobbin and get 20% off your subscription, use the link down in the description. Now I want to show you one more very powerful Cursor use case. I have this mobile UI of a financial tracking app, and I want to put Cursor to the test and see how well it can take this Figma design and build it in real code, often referred to as the design to code process. Since these frames have auto layout perfectly applied, and on the right side you can see we have actual typography tokens and color tokens, this makes these designs perfectly primed to be turned from design to code using an AI tool. So here's how you do that. Go to Customize in the upper left, and from the Plugins tab we're gonna add a new plugin. So click add and then hit from marketplace. You should immediately see the Figma plugin at the top. All we have to do is click add to cursor and then choose add for myself. Now I've authenticated my Figma account, so we're good to go. Let's open a new agent. Now let me just make sure I have this Figma plugin installed. There we go. I see Figma under my plugins and it's enabled. So here's all I have to do. I want to build this frame specifically, so I'm going to select it and hit Command L to copy the frame link to my clipboard. Now I can go back to cursor, paste that link and say, turn this UI design into real code with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This is a mobile app design, so if this was a real project, I'd probably use something like Swift UI, for example. But for this demo, this is a perfectly fine tech stack. Now this prompt is honestly straightforward enough, so I'm going to go ahead and hit prompt. So now check this out. This is the original Figma design on the right, and Cursor has built out this design in code, specifically HTML, CSS, and JavaScript on the left. This build took about 5 minutes. It looks nearly identical to the Figma design, and even though we only gave it a link to a single frame with no interactivity or anything, it still added notes of interactivity here and there, like this date range selector. We don't see the graph itself changing, but we do see this main figure up here changing upon date selection. It's also cool that I can switch over to this investment tab, and it's just taken a small guess at what would be on this tab. But check this out. As I go back to expenses, you can see this graph animating in real time. I'll show you a couple more times. It looks really sleek, and Cursor will often implement animations like that without you even having to ask. So by now you should have a really solid impression of what you can use Cursor for as a designer. You can do UI and web design from scratch, you can turn existing Figma designs into code with a single prompt, and I highly recommend that you utilize MCPs in Cursor, specifically Figma and Mobbin. I actually have a dedicated video on MCP servers, so I highly encourage you to go check that out if you want to learn more. So that's Cursor for designers. Hopefully it's clear now that it isn't just a developer tool. It's a truly powerful one for UX, UI, and product designers as well. That being said, if you're already comfortable with Claude Code, Codex, or even anti-gravity, maybe it's not worth switching. It all just depends on which tool you feel most comfortable inside, because they're all pretty similar. If there's one thing to take away from this video, it's this. The gap between designing something and actually building it is closing fast, and the designers who lean into that are going to be the ones who are impossible to replace. You don't need to become an engineer. You just need to embrace the fact that any designer can code now too, thanks to tools like Cursor and other agentic AI tools. Drop a comment if you want more videos on Cursor or if you want to learn other design tools. Thanks for watching and subscribe to become a better designer.